The trouble began on a quiet evening in Konoha. Naruto, now an experienced ninja known for his boundless energy, suddenly felt a strange tremor beneath his feet, one that didn't come from any natural source. Reports soon reached the Hokage's office. A massive surge of chakra had erupted near the Sacred Valley, a place once used to bury ancient warriors whose names had been erased from history. Naruto was immediately dispatched to investigate. When he arrived, a chilling sight greeted him. The earth had cracked open, the ground glowing faintly with blue spiritual flames. It was as if something had clawed its way out from beneath the soil. And then he saw the torn remnants of a burial seal, one that hadn't been touched for 1,000 years. As Naruto examined the seal, a sudden cold wind swept through the valley. A tall, translucent figure materialized behind him, wrapped in shredded battle armor, its eyes glowing like dying embers. The ghost's voice echoed with both wisdom and fury. "You carry the will of the village that once betrayed me?" Before Naruto could react, the spirit swung a blade made of pure chakra, slicing a deep scar across the ground. Naruto dodged, but the message was clear. The ancient warrior had returned, and he wasn't seeking peace. Naruto retreated briefly to regroup, but the ghost followed him with unnatural speed, appearing like a shifting shadow. The spirit finally introduced himself. "I am Arashi no Kensei, the Blade of Storms, a shinobi erased by your ancestors." Naruto could feel anger, pain, and betrayal woven into every word. Arashi wasn't merely a ghost, he was a manifestation of centuries of resentment. Naruto tried reasoning with him, insisting that the past didn't represent the present, but Arashi refused to listen. Instead, he unleashed a technique long believed impossible: ghost-style, phantom Tempest, a storm of ethereal wind blades capable of cutting through both body and chakra. Naruto countered with shadow clones, but they were sliced into nothingness before they could even strike. Every attack Naruto launched passed through Arashi as if he were mist. But the ghost wasn't simply untouchable. Every time Naruto failed to land a blow, Arashi grew more solid, feeding on Naruto's determination and chakra. Realizing this, Naruto withdrew deeper into the forest, desperately trying to find a strategy. As he ran, he glimpsed ancient murals half buried in moss. They depicted Arashi leading a clan, then being executed by those he once swore to protect. Naruto now understood. Arashi had risen not to conquer the world, but to reclaim an honor that history had stolen. To defeat a ghost, Naruto needed knowledge, so he sought out the ruins beneath the Sacred Valley. Deep underground lay a forgotten chamber carved with symbols of thunder and storms. At its center rested a stone tablet, cracked but still readable. It revealed the truth. Arashi had been a prodigy whose power frightened the old rulers of the land. Fearing he would one day threaten them, they spread lies, branded him a traitor, and sealed him away, alive. Naruto clenched his fists. He knew what it felt like to be misunderstood, to be feared without reason. But understanding the past wouldn't change the threat of the present. The chamber suddenly shook, dust falling from the ceiling. Arashi had found him. "Reading the sins of your ancestors will not save you," the ghost declared, descending like a storm cloud. "You will pay their debt." Naruto prepared himself, forming dozens of shadow clones. but Arashi floated effortlessly above them. Sparks of ghostly lightning gathered around his spectral blade. Naruto realized something crucial. Arashi's power was tied to the emotions that bound him to the world. If Naruto could confront those emotions, not with fists, but with truth, he might weaken the ghost's hold. But before he could act, Arashi unleashed a devastating attack that shattered the ancient chamber, burying Naruto under a storm of spiritual thunder. Naruto emerged from the rubble, battered but determined. Arashi hovered above, preparing a final strike meant to erase Naruto and the legacy of Konoha in one blow. But Naruto didn't fight back immediately. He shouted up at Arashi, voice raw. "I know what it feels like to be alone, to be hated, but you deserved better, and your story should have been remembered." For the first time, Arashi hesitated. His blade flickered, his form wavering. The storm around him weakened for a moment. Naruto pushed forward, not with an attack, but with truth. He retold Arashi's forgotten history, his achievements, his bravery, the betrayal he endured. The words echoed through the shattered ruins like a confession the world had waited centuries to hear. Arashi trembled. His spectral armor cracked. The storm around him calmed, but the ghost wasn't ready to release his fury. He screamed, clutching his head as memories, both pain and pride, rushed through him. "Why do you speak as if you knew my suffering?" Naruto answered simply, "Because I once carried a burden that wasn't mine too." Arashi roared, charging with a new surge of power, but now Naruto could feel it. The ghost's chakra no longer flowed smoothly. It pulsed erratically, torn between vengeance and release. Naruto braced himself for the final clash. The air crackled as Arashi and Naruto collided in a violent fusion of chakra and ethereal lightning. Naruto entered sage mode, his senses heightened enough to see the faint threads of spiritual energy binding Arashi to the world. He didn't aim to destroy Arashi, he aimed to free him. With each blow, Naruto didn't shout threats, he shouted the truths Arashi had been denied. Your legacy won't be forgotten. Your clan's honor will be restored. You deserved justice, not silence. Arashi staggered. His once solid form flickered like a candle in the wind. Finally, Naruto formed a Rasengan, infused with natural energy, not to harm, but to disrupt the spiritual chains keeping Arashi trapped in hatred. When the Rasengan struck, it dispersed the storm surrounding the ghost. Arashi's armor shattered into particles of light. The spectral blade dissolved. The valley fell silent. Arashi hovered before Naruto, now calm, his eyes no longer burning with rage, but glowing gently with gratitude. You carry a fire that even death cannot extinguish. For that, I thank you. As dawn broke over the sacred valley, Arashi's form faded into motes of golden light, drifting upward like fireflies returning home. Naruto, exhausted but relieved, stood alone as the ancient grave finally closed, sealing the past with peace rather than pain. The legend of Arashi no Kensei was no longer forgotten, because Naruto had given it back to the world.